Get ready to rock, America. It's the Smith and Milano Podcast, brought to you by Treehouse Comedy Production. Here's R.C. Smith and Lou Milano.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, wow, look at us.
We made it.
Wow.
Good to be here.
So, the government is shut down. I don't know how we're going to make it through the show. The government is shut down.
Is it shut down by now?
It should be shut down by now. I think it's shut down. I think it was like...
Shut it down, Mike!
Now,
watch his fucking legs!
Shut it down, Mike!
I was not going to swear this week. I made a little pact with myself. I don't know.
Why?
I felt like it's too much.
Why the fuck do you care?
But then, like, right out of the gate. Seconds in.
No, this is our freedom. This is our man time.
Freedom! That's right. This is the Smith and Milano Podcast, and you are...
I'm R.C. Smith, and I was actually on my way to the Women's March today.
Nice, very nice.
To pick up babes.
Babes. Nobody says babes anymore. I am Lou Milano. I'm an HVAC expert.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does HVAC stand for?
You know it, buddy. It stands for you know it, buddy. You know I don't know it.
Heating and air conditioning.
That's right. What's the V stand for?
Vagina.
Exactly.
Here's one more from the road.
This is where we tell stories from our week, from the road, whatever. My story is about a blog that I wrote. And I always, whenever I say that I wrote a blog, I always qualify it with the fact that I am required to at my job.
Absolutely, because anybody that actually sits down and writes a blog voluntarily because they think whatever it is they say is so important, they're kind of douchey.
Yeah.
Bloggers are douchey. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
You know, it's funny you should say that because I get recipes off the internet all the time just because I like to cook at home. So if you Google whatever it is, pumpkin pie, and you find a blog, you have to sift through paragraphs and paragraphs of some person talking about their pumpkin pie experience.
Yeah, it's their editorial.
I don't give a shit.
On pumpkin pie.
You know, on a beautiful fall day, who doesn't like a pumpkin pie? My experience of pumpkin pie began when I was a young kid. Oh my God, just get to the fucking recipe.
You're right. No one cares about blogs
at all.
So I have to write them. They hold a gun literally to my head.
Yep.
At my job.
I've been there. I actually saw them take your wife and kids and say you'll get them back.
10 blogs by the end of the week.
And maybe you'll see them.
If you ever want to see them again. So my blog was about this article that had appeared in the newspaper here in Danbury, Connecticut, called the News Times, and it was about this website, Seeking Arrangements. For those who don't know what Seeking Arrangements is, they pair up pretty much, usually, like probably 80% of the cases, young, college-age, pretty women with old men who have money.
Wow, so like a sugar daddy thing.
Sugar daddy, sugar baby, exactly.
All right, and what's the term they use?
Seeking arrangements.
Seeking arrangements, wink.
Right.
All right.
So I wrote about how people using this website are on the rise on the campus of UConn, which is my local tie-in to get people to read the thing I didn't want to write.
And I find that people are so ecstatic about UConn that you can mention it anywhere and people will stop and listen or stop and read.
Yeah, that's true.
Or start to cheer. It's a very enthusiastic alumni student body.
Correct. I would agree with that. So what I encountered was I wrote this thing, and what did you expect me to say? I said, these are hookers and johns.
Because that's what they are.
And how many words did I write?
They're hookers and johns.
It's about 185 words.
Just to say that they're hookers and johns.
Just to say that they're hookers and johns.
Because you have four. You have hookers, johns, UConn. Those are 4 words right there. Right. So there you go.
I could have just said it in much less words.
Right.
So
hookers, johns, UConn.
I get this guy who responds to it. Oh, I'm on the wrong part of where I wanted to be to read his response. So let me find that.
I'm sure he was very upset about it.
Oh, he's very upset
because false outrage now is off the charts.
Right.
People who are just outraged about anything. You can just say, "Oh, you know, I dropped a pen," and people will just fucking go nuts.
Well, I could see the anger in the writing style. My eyes were blurry, as you know, first thing in the morning, and I could already see this was going somewhere negative.
Isn't it great waking up to false outrage?
Yeah. So the guy is saying basically I'm shaming them.
You're shaming who? Hookers and Johns?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm shaming sex workers is what he called.
Oh, they're sex workers now.
Correct.
I didn't realize there was a union.
I want to get the exact wording,
They're
but I was very excited
workers.
once I could see the word shame in there. I was excited to be a part of it because I've been a part of shame my entire life.
Is this guy a hooker or a John?
He is an asshole.
Okay, I thought you were going to say advocate.
An asshole. Just commenting. Here it is. Jonathan.
Well, I don't like him already.
His profile picture, he's covered in paint and he's making a maneuver. He's an artist for sure.
Right. Because all artists at some point have to do a picture of themselves covered in paint.
He's shirtless, covered in paint. Jonathan.
Skinny guy, fat guy.
Skinny guy, college age.
Right, okay, yeah.
Or just fresh out of college.
And he's the first guy to ever fucking cover himself in paint.
Yes.
And photograph himself.
And he's doing this.
Of course, like the Batman move, his hands up in front of his eyes.
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
He says, just commenting to see how many provincial fools want to stigmatize and shame sex workers.
Wow, provincial and stigmatize in one sentence.
First sentence.
That's a college grad.
Sentence.
That is a college grad.
Now he's just...
Jonathan, you are really...
He's got it together.
Your parents paid for college and you're giving them their money's worth.
Second sentence. If you've ever looked at porn but shame these kids, congrats, you're a hypocrite. Not for nothing, but organized sex rings incorporating human trafficking, drugs, and most of the negatives associated with sexual work as a whole are the problem and must be the focus of outrage. Not college kids getting paid to fuck at will. This reductionist thinking is what drives those seeking sexual services underground, creating the aforementioned black markets.
Now I got to look up reductionist. What the fuck? I'm a fairly intelligent guy, but what the hell is that?
Transparent legal sex work is not only sound public health policy, protecting the public and workers through mandatory STI screening, but it is essential to shedding the theocratic undertones of policy that have no place being there at all, whether about sexy work or abortion or DEA policy. When sex work is a choice, it should be respected as an individual's right to bodily autonomy.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know where he's going with this, but I'll bet he mentions Amsterdam at some point. Because, the hookers there are unionized and they're controlled by the government and they get free, health care and stuff like that. Yeah. So they're respected, the hookers in Amsterdam. And I'll bet that's what he wants with this.
Well, I'm so fucking confused by the first 4 paragraphs. I can't figure out where I left off. As a representative of an organization working to free human slaves in countries like Cambodia and India for industries ranging from mining to sex work, the things we see on sites like this should be legal for consenting adults. Stripping is legal. Porn is legal. What isn't, shouldn't, and can't be legal is... and now he's just grammar and misspelling. He's taking,
because
he's very excitable.
Because his outrage is taken over now. So he's no longer thinking sensibly. He's just typing. He's just typing because he's so outraged. Oh my God, I am so outraged.
This article paints a recklessly broad stroke. It is merely stirring the moralistic pot.
I've never heard a guy use so many words to say nothing in my entire life.
Yeah, basically he's saying me and people like me are why there is human trafficking. I'm now responsible.
You
for
are
human
responsible
trafficking.
for the sex trade,
and we've known this for years.
Right, and
he's just finally the one using the big
and you're
words.
responsible for STDs.
Yeah,
you're responsible for people getting pregnant and having abortions. You're responsible for men leaving their wives to go with hookers because they can't control their urges. So you're responsible for all of it, man. Wow.
But the hate on Facebook, this is great. Listen, after all of those many paragraphs with the $10 words.
Right.
And the outrage about outrage, which is basically what it was. He was outraged about outrage.
Yeah.
Right? This guy Peter checks in and goes, tell that to your daughter, Snowflake. You make me sick.
Wow.
Game over.
Done. And one sentence. One sentence.
Now I want to go on record as saying something I've said many times before. I don't care about any of it.
No, at all.
I don't care. Well, human trafficking is bad.
It is bad.
I know I'm going out on a limb there. Don't like it. Even though I'm apparently responsible for it.
Even though,
not a fan.
I remember when you invented it.
It really got away from me. I feel like Miles Dyson in Terminator. I'm just learning all this shit now.
I remember when you invented human trafficking. And basically, you were just going out to get milk.
Yeah. I thought, like Miles Dyson, I was just like doing this thing. And I thought everybody thought it was going to be
next
pretty
thing you
cool.
know,
Skynet fucks us all up. Right.
What color is he painted, by the way, this guy in his picture?
All colors.
Oh, he's, of course. Why not? He's the rainbow.
Yeah,
Why
he
not?
is
Why not the rainbow?
The rainbow.
Of course.
But I think human trafficking is bad. Mm-hmm. But I think my point in the article that I wrote that I don't care about is that we are going out of our way to call it all these things.
Yeah.
When it's prostitution.
It's prostitution. That's it.
And I think that's all I said.
Now, whether you want it legal, not legal, if you're for it, against it, a sin, not a sin, that it is prostitution. That's what it is, and we don't need anybody's opinion about whether they think it's good or bad or not.
So Jonathan.
Yeah.
Not John.
Right. No.
Jonathan.
I'll bet Jonathan is a real joy to go out on a date with.
Oh, he's a blast.
I'll bet he's so blast. Now, whether he's dating women, men, whoever. Can you imagine a first date with this guy?
How long does it take him if he truly does the work that he says he does?
Right.
In terms of free he's literally a freedom fighter for sex traffickers.
Right.
If that's true, first of all of this shit aside, good for you.
Yeah.
That's a great
Someone
thing.
has to do it.
Now, let's just assume he's not lying.
Right.
And he's telling the truth about that, right?
Uh-huh.
How long does it take him to mention that on a date?
Oh, I bet it's brutal.
Does he shout it?
Because anybody that's that behind a cause of any kind can't go for too long without mentioning it.
Yeah, like you're getting the table.
Right.
And he's like, so this is what... Like, immediately, right?
Absolutely.
Like, that's his angle.
Let's take, like, someone who's like an animal rights activist, all right? It doesn't take them long to bring up the fact that they're an animal rights activist.
All they need is a bumper sticker.
All I need to do is
bumper sticker, and they have an open.
All I need to do is post a picture of my dog on social media, and within 5 minutes, I'm hearing from animal rights activists.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you adopt him? Adoption is the only way to go. If you're going to adopt him, because millions of dogs every year and blah, 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 blah. Look, I just like to picture my dog eating his own shit, all right?
Yeah. I noticed that you don't care about your dog if you let him eat his own shit. And there's also a butter knife on the coffee table that he could swallow.
He could hurt himself.
Asshole.
He could hurt himself. Yeah. So anybody who has any kind of cause is just overbearing.
They're just waiting for a chance to say it.
Yeah, and it comes up in the conversations you have within minutes.
Right.
So I'm sure that Jonathan goes out to, on a date with someone. They sit down at the table, and within the first couple minutes, suppose whoever he's with goes, oh my God, look at that girl over there. She's dressed like a hooker.
Yeah.
Well, hookers are really people too.
Right. Yeah, sex worker, you mean.
Sex worker. I need to go talk to her and find out whether she's in trouble or not.
And his pants are cuffed.
Yeah.
Right?
His pants are cuffed.
Not wearing socks.
Not wearing socks. Wearing topsider shoes.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Hair in a bun.
Yeah. Or since he's an artist, he's probably wearing army boots, unlaced.
Yeah.
Flapping around, skinny jeans, probably wearing like a big baggy cardigan sweater.
Right.
That has like paint splotches on it. So people go, hey, you got paint. Well, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Let me show you a picture of me when I painted myself the rainbow. This is my Skittles period.
He's all for racial equality, does not know one minority.
Nope. And can only name like 4 races.
So I think we've gotten this cup.
Yeah. We don't know Jonathan, but we know him.
Well done. Touche. I was going to high five you.
Oh, sorry.
All right, we got to thank our fantastic, amazing sponsors.
Treehouse Comedy Productions, the guy that's responsible for this podcast every week.
The guy
behind the guy, Brad Axelrod at Treehouse Comedy, which has been in Connecticut for almost 35 years. One of the longest running comedy providers, not just in Connecticut, but in the country. They have locations in Westport, Branford, Windsor Locks, West Haven, and Newtown, Connecticut. Connecticut. A lot of great shows coming up. Saturday, January 27th in Westport. They're having the great Gilbert Gottfried.
Did you see the new Gilbert documentary on Hulu?
It's wonderful.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So you should watch the Gilbert documentary and then go see him. It'll really make a lot of things a lot clearer.
Yeah.
Also, the same night, Saturday, January 27th, in Thimble Island Brewing Company, we have Johnny Rizzo and Rob Falcone, two comedy veterans who've been around a long time. February 3rd, the great Joey Cola is in Westport. And February 10th, we have the amazing Nick DiPaolo in Windsor Locks.
Windsor Locks needs to start writing checks to the show.
Right.
Or they're not going to hear their name in
We
here
mention
anymore.
them a lot.
Yeah.
Windsor Locks. And it's a great venue, a great place to see a show, as well as entertain yourself in other ways. Great food. There's gambling there, so
right.
it's great.
And they could be having shows like Nick DiPaolo.
Right.
And then